Oh, well, all right, y'all. So, welcome back to Love 24 Hours here, where we review content that could either brighten or enlighten your day. All right, y'all. So, shout out to the entire Love Tribe. Yeah, we're gonna keep it short and cute today. So, yeah, so let's just go ahead and jump straight into the video.
Today's message: learning to stay calm when you're disrespected is a superpower.
Know the mantra: I am the most powerful being in the cosmos. That's the mantra. Mantra means you keep saying it to yourself. The intent you hold is for divine cosmic protection, and you're tapping into the dark matter energy in you to strengthen the genetics in you. Because linking into that dark matter energy, see yourself in the center of darkness, which is not going to be hard to do with your eyes closed anyway. But what you're doing is you're further helping speed up the process of unlocking your genetics. And you're linking into the energy. You have to recognize, drop your physical avatar. When you close your eyes, don't see your body. See what you see. That darkness, that what you come from, and that your spirit and soul, and that's how Source created you. So that's your essence, electricity and magnetism. And that can never be destroyed. You can never be destroyed. You will never die. You was never born. I repeat, you can never be destroyed. You will never die. You was never born. All right? So we got a lot of infiltration taking place, all right? COINTELPRO is still at an all-time high. So what I need you to do is, this is why we need that divine cosmic protection. We got to call them in, though. We got to call them in and be ready to stand on everything that we've learned, right? Because we at war. We're at a war, all right? We're at war. So don't think, oh, you just going to be remembering who you is and shit going to be sweet. We at war. Remember that. All right, a spiritual war.
Look what he had to say in 1996. Imagine.
It's like this. You start by secretly creating a problem in the world and making sure someone else is blamed for it in the public arena, in the public mind. It could be a run on a currency, it could be a government collapse, at its most extreme it could be a war. Because the two world wars in this century were funded, all sides were funded by the same people. Provable. The same people that funded the Allies in the Second World War and funded the Soviet Union also funded Hitler. Through loans from America, known as the Young Plan and the Dawes Plan, and also via the German subsidiaries of American multinational companies. Why would they do that? Why would someone want to fund all sides in a war? What is good is a war? Well, first of all, on one level, it makes vast amounts of money if you're lending money to all sides and you're also selling them lots of arms and all that stuff. But the fundamental reason for a war is to change the nature of post-war society. And what we saw in the First World War and the Second World War were massive global examples of problem-reaction solution. We are looking at a gigantic con-trick before our eyes. We don't live in a democracy in this country or in America or in these other places. We live in a one-party state where the same force from the peak of the pyramid string pulls all sides. The creation of a one-world government to which nation-states would be principalities, administrative units, a world central bank which would administer all financial transactions on the planet, a world currency which wouldn't be coins and notes, it would be merely electronic, cashless society for which there are fundamental implications for freedom, as we'll see as we go along tonight, a world army under centralized control with nation-state armies dismantled under the justification of seeking peace, and a microchipped population linked to a global computer, the latter of which sounds bizarre to many people on first hearing, except that we are ridiculously close to it and the technology already exists. So World Health Organization says there's going to be a measles epidemic next year. Get vaccinated. Get your children vaccinated. You're a bad parent if you don't. Then the same people that organize that then start flogging out the vaccine and make a fortune out of it. So if we take one element of that under problem reaction solution, it's amazing the extent to which we have given our power away, our spiritual power. It's all about taking our power back. Because once we do that, it's all over.
Understand why people don't like Ursula. I agree that she is evil, but still Ariel signed the contract. The crab wanted her, the gold piece wanted her, and also the sexy father wanted her. Ursula sang the poor unfortunate soul, but still she signed the contract. She did it for Pete and for Eric. He's not even cute.
They're in love.
Yeah,
Love. I don't care. He looks like a toothpaste.
Ursula stole her voice and then tried to sabotage
I don't care
her.
because Ursula is a businesswoman and that's called interest. It's a spoiled brat apple.
She doesn't know any better, ma. She's only 16.
She doesn't know any better, but they allow her to marry Eric. She got the permission of her father. I saw them stab Ursula with a sheep.
Yeah.
It hurts me.
Yo.
Yeah, I feel it. As if I'm Ursula. You know, we are only doing business.
You're business women, yeah.
Yeah, they cheated us. Moral of the story, Ursula is the victim. Oh, God.
Nikola Tesla knew that the Earth rings like a bell.
We now know that cancer is vulnerable between the frequencies of 100,000 hertz and 300,000 hertz.
The guys that created the religious symbols know all this stuff. These guys knew all this stuff. We live in an electromagnetic universe. This is what we are told, where everything spins and vibrates. And the electromagnetic universe is actually a subtle deception. You'll understand as we go why I say this. It's a very subtle deception, a very important subtle deception. Because it's not the electromagnetic universe that we live in. It's the magneto-electric universe that we live in. And just twisting those two around would have given us a very different perception while we grow up about the world that we live in and the universe and this reality of us. If we don't think of it as the electromagnetic but the magneto-electric. Huge consciousness shift in growing up with that kind of thinking. Everything has its own specific frequency, as we mentioned before. Prime resonance frequency. Everything vibrates at its own frequency. That's how we can manipulate things with frequency and sound and resonance. All comes to the same thing when you start breaking it down. Sound and resonance are also the common links of all creation. In Christianity we have the Word, we have the Om in Hinduism, the Egyptians that sang the universe into creation, and my favorite, the Aboriginals that believe the world was sung into creation with 3 sacred songs, or brought into creation with 3 sacred songs, which is the equivalent to the Holy Trinity. And we start seeing the whole important structure of music and resonance and chord structures, harmonic resonance in music. We get the 6 days of creation very obviously become visible in sacred geometry, and the 6 aspects of Om show us cymatic patterns, and the 6 aspects of the all-seeing eye of Horus show us 6 very obvious resonating ratios that tell us that all these ancient cultures understood sound, resonance, and frequency, and it's encoded in all the things that they did. Sound is the source of all creation, and it's all about coherence and harmonic resonance. Even in our bodies, if the cells of our body are not in coherent harmonic resonance, our cells are in dis-ease, in disease, and that's why we get sick. And if we're not resonating with the earth frequencies, the natural earth frequencies of Gaia, we are in dis-ease with the Mother Earth that we live on and walk on, and that's why we get sick. Hans Jenny's beautiful documentary called Cymatics in the 60s will show you exactly how sound is pretty much behind everything in creation. We've already looked at sound manifesting in physical form. This is the quickest and easiest way for us to comprehend, once again, how this untouchable, invisible thing called sound can manifest in physical form. That little thing on the metal plate, with the sand on the metal plate on that video. That's just probably the quickest way for us to say, okay, sound can manifest physical shapes. And sound also inspired religious symbols, because the guys that created the religious symbols know all this stuff. These guys knew all this stuff, and they know they're all connected to the ancient bloodlines. And some of these beautiful images of the cymatic patterns, when you drill into it, you get that perfect cross in a circle of the source of the sound. And that's it. The source of the sound is this beautiful cross in a circle, and this is why most of the religious movements have the cross in a circle as their symbol, recognizing that the source of everything in creation is sound, the sound of the Creator. And sound and resonance, that does everything you can imagine. Right? Creates light, levitates, boils water, creates DNA. Sound heals and destroys pathogens, moves beyond the speed of light. And we have hypersound and laser and Saser technology, not laser, sound lasers, Saser. Sound makes things invisible, energizes the water we drink, so the water actually heals us, and it also energizes the air that we breathe, so that we can actually survive from the air that we breathe. Otherwise, we would not survive from the air that we breathe if it wasn't for sound. And very importantly, sound is the precursor to electromagnetism, not the other way around. Sound causes electromagnetism. This is a big one for us to come to terms with. Ancient civilizations understood all this, and they used sound and frequency as a source of energy in every possible way. They used sound and frequency to control humanity, and it seems that they were focusing for some reason on our pineal gland. They had to destroy our pineal gland, and the more you study this, the more you realize why that was critical, because it seems that our pineal gland was that third eye that so many of us are aware of, or we keep calling it our third eye, that connected us to everything in creation and allowed us to pick up the frequencies and the invisible, untouchable, unfathomable stuff through the third eye and actually be able to communicate telepathically with everything and everyone, and interact not only with other beings, but with other entities and beings and animals and trees and rocks, because of our third eye. That thing there is the magic part of our body and our anatomy that's been completely destroyed. And it seems from all these images that they took a lot of time and effort to destroy our pineal gland. And they continue to do so today, as you are aware of. And they used cone-shaped tools to do this. This is a key thing here. You can clearly see the cone-shaped tools, and this is a repetitive theme all the time. And the pineal gland, and also, by the look of it, the DNA, that is obviously the codes that creates the pineal gland in our anatomy eventually. And sound and frequency. Notice the magnetic wrist watch here. And I'm giving the game away here because I'm telling you what that is. There is a cone. This guy's holding a cone in his hand. Very important cone-shaped tool that he's doing some function with. And there's another cone here on his arm. At first you think, oh, it's just an interpretation of the guy's muscle. No, it's a cone. It's a perfect cone that feeds into this magnetic wrist watch. And you'll know why that's a magnetic wrist watch very soon. And the same kind of control through using frequency and sound and magnetism and electromagnetism that was used in ancient times, the all-seeing eye of Horus, it's still being used by the broadcast companies today. You know, it's encoded in their logos. It's everywhere around us, but we're just too blind to see it. Sound as a tool and technology, very important. Sound creates light. Even this, you add attach a LED light to a speaker, and you put a speaker in a noisy place, you light the little LED up. That's spectacular. So it works both ways, light and sound. Every sound frequency has a light frequency, and every light frequency has a sound frequency attached to it. Corey Good, in a recent interview, said that he was in some giant underground cavern somewhere, and there was this invisible source of light. And when he asked, where does the light come from? He was told, the light was coming from the sound. The light was being created by the sound. In Egypt, the ankh was used for healing. That was just a resonating device, sound frequency resonating for healing. The Native American medicine wheel is clearly just a cross in a circle as a source of all things, so from sound to heal people. Royal Rife, the man who cured all disease in 1931, he did that with sound and resonance and frequency. Spectacular achievement in curing cancer in the wards. This is his handwritten book that I had the privilege of seeing. It's in a private library in Sedona, Arizona. There's about 700 pages in there, I think, and they are page after page with his own handwritten frequencies for all the different diseases. One of my biggest, most exciting obsessions at the moment, and if there are people in this room that can do this, please go away and do this. You know that honey lasts forever. It doesn't go off. It's not affected by viruses, bacteria, pathogens. It's one of those miraculous things. Apparently, the reason that honey does that is because of the frequencies of the bees' wings when they're building their honeycombs and when they're creating and bringing in the honey. So it's a frequency of the bees' wings that creates the hexagonal structure of honeycombs. It's also interesting is that the hexagonal structure is a structure of oxygenated and structured water, that cures disease. This is really important. If any one of you can go and record the frequency of bees in a beehive, the buzzing of the bees' wings, and you take that frequency to a lab, a biochemistry lab, and you expose a petri dish of viruses, bacteria, and fungus to the frequency of the bee's wings, I suspect that that frequency will kill the bacteria. George Lakhovsky's multiple wave oscillator is a spectacular device with which he cured his father, listen carefully, he cured his father of quadriplegia. You don't cure people of quadriplegia, right? His father was admitted with quadriplegia into the hospital in the USA. 6 weeks later, he walked out on crutches. The way he treated him is every day he walked in there with a little small handheld portable multiple wave oscillator from George Lakhovsky. And
being 1111 or 444 or a repeat of certain numbers. That's a good sign, because that's the universe letting you know that you're on the right track, that you are aware, that you're even noticing it is important. And when you notice it, say thank you. It's not the numbers themselves that are important. What's important is that it catches your attention and you notice it, which means you're on the right track and you're raising your vibration. Say thank you. It's a good sign from the universe. Keep doing what you're doing. Become more aware.
We'd like you to envision making your transition into non-physical. And then when you meet up with someone that you can communicate with, you say, where's the list? And they'll say, what list are you looking for? And you'll say, the list of all the things I sacrificed so that I could be the good person that I needed to be here. And they'll say, oh, there's no list like that. What? What? Nobody kept track of all of the things that I didn't do that I wanted to do? Nobody kept track of all the things I did? Nobody kept track? No, no one's keeping track of that. There's no reward for everything that I sacrificed in order to be here in this good place. This isn't the good place. This is the only place. When do I get my reward? You got it in the moment of your experience in physical life. You either allowed yourself to flow the fullness of who you are, or you pinched it off for some bogus reason. And so you felt it in the moment, your openness or your closedness, your allowing or your not allowing, your love or your hate, your trust in yourself or not, your belief in your goodness or your not, your belief in others or not, you see. Kind of getting this a little bit?
Made the dinosaurs go extinct. Do you realize they're asking the wrong question? The question is not what made them go extinct. The question is, did they go extinct? Now, they didn't call them dinosaur, though. They called them dragon. See, the word dinosaur wasn't made up till 1841. So for most of human history, these creatures are called dragons. Did you know dinosaurs not even in the dictionary in 1891? For most of human history, they were known as dragons. Now, dragons are mentioned in the Bible 34 times. People say, why aren't dinosaurs in the Bible? Last night, I'm talking to this lady at the counter at the hotel. She said, well, dinosaurs aren't in the Bible. I said, that's correct. That word wasn't made up till 1841. And if you got the right Bible, that was translated 1611. So, of course, you're not going to find that word in there. Duh. But they called them dragons. Dragons are listed in the dictionary in 1946 as now rare. As the population of people began to grow after the flood, the population of dragons began to go down. Because nobody wants to live next door to a dragon. Same thing happened in Cobb County, Georgia, where Atlanta is today. Do you realize how many grizzly bears there are roaming around the woods right now near Atlanta, Georgia? 0. Do you know how many there were just 300 years ago? Hundreds. What happened to the grizzly bears in Cobb County, Georgia? Well, as people move in and civilize an area, the big ferocious animals are killed off or driven off. Happens everywhere. If it came on the evening news tonight that there were 5 grizzly bears roaming around Cobb County, you know what would happen by 6 o'clock in the morning? They'd all be dead. Because every redneck in 4 states would be out there with a rifle trying to shoot one. Right? And whoever could shoot the biggest one would be a hero. They'd have his picture on the front page. Hey, Bubba shot the grizzly bear and saved the village. Yeah, he did. Well, that's exactly what happened to the dragons. Man, if you could figure out a way to kill a dragon, they'd be telling stories about you around the campfire from now on. People kill dragons for meat because they were a menace, to prove you're a hero, to prove you're superior, competition for land, or for medicinal purposes. Many ancient recipes call for dragon blood, dragon bones, dragon saliva. Why? Gilgamesh is famous for slaying a dragon. A Chinese legend tells about a guy named Yu that surveyed the land of China. It says after the flood, he surveyed the land and divided it into sections. He built channels to drain the water off to the sea and make the land livable again. Many snakes and dragons were driven from the marshlands. Yeah, that's just normal. If you want to build a city, you got to, drive off the dragons and then build your city. I mean, it was expected. You got to drive the dragons off. Okay? Why would the Chinese calendar have 11 real animals, the pig, the duck, the dog, and a dragon? Why would they put a mythical animal in there? Could it be that at the time they came up with these 12 symbols, there were 12 real animals? Here's one of the oldest pieces of pottery on planet Earth. It's a piece of slate from Egypt, first dynasty of United Egypt. It shows long-necked dragons. We make replicas of it if you want to get one for a prize for your bus route, for some to give out to the kid who does whatever, they'll go crazy over this thing. Half-size replicas of the oldest piece of pottery on Earth. Why would they put long-necked dinosaurs on pottery 3,800 years ago? Here's 2 long-necked dinosaurs with a sheep in between their mouths. Here's a hippo tusk from the 12th century BC showing an animal with a long neck and a long tail. There's a cylinder seal showing what appears to quite obviously be long-necked dinosaurs. The Bible talks about a fiery flying serpent in Isaiah 14. Wait a minute, a fiery flying serpent? Well, if you read the story of Herodotus says he went to a certain place in Arabia, almost exactly opposite Buto, to make inquiries concerning the winged serpents. On my arrival, I saw the backbones and ribs of serpents in such numbers as it's impossible to describe. The winged serpent is shaped like the water snake. Its wings are not feathered, but resemble very closely those of the bat. The people where the bones lie at the entrance of a narrow gorge between steep mountains. The story goes that with the spring, the winged snakes come flying from Arabia towards Egypt, but are met in this gorge by the bird called ibises.
You have basically, being a physical being, split yourself into 2 main components: a physical mind and a higher mind that is non-physical. You need to work together. The physical mind and the higher mind must form a partnership, must form a relationship that works in tandem in order to actually function as a whole person in your reality. But when you allow the physical mind to think that it has to do this, and it has to make this happen, and it must know how something is going to happen, and you get it to focus on all these details, you are giving it more than it was designed to do. You wear it out. You tire it out, and you wonder why you get so many headaches at the end of the day, and you wonder why you're tired all the time. The idea is to understand that the physical mind is simply not designed to know how something is going to happen. It just isn't. The physical mind is only designed to know and to experience what is happening in the present. The higher mind knows how something is going to happen. When you allow the higher mind thus then to know that and to work with you, the higher mind will know how to bring the manifestation to the physical mind for the physical mind to experience. So here is how the idea, for example, of visualization actually works. The physical mind is capable of conjuring a visualization of your ideal preferred reality. And when you see that visualization in your mind's eye, you get very excited about that manifestation, about experiencing that reality. And the excitement is good, is exactly what you need. But the purpose of that visualization is to generate that feeling, that state of being of passion, of excitement. The purpose of the visualization is not necessarily to come into manifestation as your physical mind has envisioned it. Because your physical mind, what it may think is the most ultimate representation of that reality. What it may think is the absolute top. What it may think is the absolute ceiling. To the higher mind is just the floor, just the beginning of what could manifest. And if you simply stay in the state that the visualization generates within you and then let go of the actual imagery and hand that energy over to your higher mind will actually then bring you the manifestation that is actually representative of that passion state, even though it may look nothing like you imagined. It might, but it might not. So the idea is to use the energy state to work with the higher mind and allow the higher mind to bring you what it knows you really need that is truly representative of that energy state, so that you can be open and willing to accept that no matter what manifests, it is all part and parcel, all a representation of your joy, and never will be defined or labeled as an interruption in it, or an obstacle in it, or a stopping of that joy.
That's how you do it, shit, like.
Nothing really comes to you from outside of you. Everything comes to you from within your own consciousness. Everything comes to you from within your own inner feeling about yourself. Not according to what others think and feel about you, but your experiences come to you. Your cursing or your blessing, your good or your evil, comes to you out of your own inner consciousness. And once again, let me make the startling statement. If any person could honestly feel and think that he is deserving and worthy of $1 million, that $1 million would come to him so fast until it would make his head spin.
When we fell, the chakra centers, the pineal area, the black dot, and all of the crown chakra and the spiritual wheels of light in us closed down, because the earth steadily fell deeper and deeper into the third dimension, which is the lowest form of the physical. And the physical trapped all of the spiritual stuff, and that stuff stopped operating. So what we used to use as cosmic memory, we had to go to a mathematical equation to think up cosmic memory. That's where geometry, astronomy, astrology, trigonometry, reading, writing, and the 7 liberal arts came into being to mathematically equate what we had gotten rid of that was natural nature, the cosmic stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Now, why did all this stuff? This is where your mystery system came in, to learn the basic 7 liberal arts, and then to go into spiritual attainment to get the priest back to that level. And then they understood that they couldn't, all the people in the world couldn't go to that Christ level, so the priest ran the society and made sure that the moral structure that they put in the scriptures is what the masses of the people would behave like. And that's where you have moral code come in. It came in as a remembrance of what you used to do when you were gods.
1, 2, 3, 4. My dog will not let me in the room.
Alright, y'all. So thank you for joining me today. So it was a pleasure. So yeah, so enjoy the rest of your day or night or whatever. Love and light to every last one of you. And until the next video. Peace out.